Secret changes to the map, secret changes to the rift, secret changes to the weapons. We have a ton of fun stuff to go through today, guys. As you know, recently the 5.2 update came out, and usually I do these videos a little bit closer to when the update comes out, but you guys know I had to put up the weekly challenges guide, had to show you guys how to get the Galaxy skin for free, but we're finally getting around to it, showing you guys the secret changes in the recent update to the game, the update that brought in the brand new double-barreled shotgun, which I still don't know if I like, but yeah, we've even got stuff to do with like the ATKs, bug fixes that I'm super happy about, and more. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit that like button down below. It always helps me out so much and shows me that you guys love the videos. On top of that, comment down below actually what you do think of the double barrel shotgun. Is it your favorite weapon? Do you absolutely despise it? Do you never pick it up? I'm curious to see what you guys have to say, because like for me, I just feel like it reloads too slow, which is fine for like solo, but other game modes, I'm not so sure. But yeah, I want to know what you guys have to say. But jumping into it here, guys, we have so many of these to go through, and this is the first one, which actually is a pretty big one, but the moving trucks on the map are starting to move around. Now, if you guys remember last season, around this time they started to do all of that stuff to build hype for season 5. Things started to happen on the map. They were like carting away the hop rocks and stuff. Well, that is starting to happen again, and it's happening with these moving trucks right here. So as you can see, they're right next to Dusty Divot, and I'm sure some of you noticed this in the past when they were more over towards like the house over there, but a lot of people thought they were like rebuilding Dusty Depot. There was like toilets and stuff, a theory about that being like the factory's place from like before the update. Well, unfortunately, that might not be the case, because they're moving more towards just Dusty Depot itself, which on the other hand could mean that they're rebuilding Dusty Depot, even though I kind of like the Divot effect, but it would be kind of cool if they maybe rebuilt the 3 buildings of Dusty Depot. So maybe that is exactly what they are doing. Again, that's just a theory, but there's no doubt that something is going on here. These trucks did move locations, and since they have a bunch of building materials, something is going to be rebuilt, which would make sense that it would be like Dusty Depot. So we'll have to check back on that next big update, and you know I'll keep you guys covered on that in a new video, but it's definitely a sneaky little change, Epic. Now after that, then we have to get into it with a little bit of a small change, and one that I think a bunch of you might know about, but in case you haven't, let me just grace you with this information that you absolutely need to know. So it has to do with the ATKs, the ones that just recently came back into the game. I honestly miss them so much. One of my favorite additions. Like, being completely honest, they are amazing. But recently, they actually added a honk button. That is right, guys. You can now honk the ATKs if you did not know. And like, as you can hear, it is such a magnificent sound. I love it so much. But yeah, in case you're not sure how to do this, at least I know for sure on consoles, you just have to click in the left stick and you can like honk the ATK. On PC, I'm not 100% sure. Just start smacking your buttons. I'm sure you'll find it. But I don't know, fun little change. Especially when you're trying to play like Mario on it. But keeping it going here with one of the biggest changes in this video that I know I had to make this video because of this one, and also a change coming up later, which you guys definitely need to see. But this change is huge because it has to do with building. As you guys know, in the past and like the recent couple of updates, they've actually been changing building a ton, like reducing the initial health of a bunch of the structures. The spam meta was no. But apparently they made a change to materials recently and buffed their initial strength in order to sort of balance out that spam meta. Now, what are the exact specifics of the new strengths of the materials? Going straight from Epic on what they say about this, first of all, the changes to wood wall initial health HP is increased from 80 to 90, which I can't quite remember. Wasn't it at 100 before? So this is kind of like a middle ground. But yeah, they did buff that a little bit. And then they increased the stone wall's initial HP from 80 to 100. And finally, metal walls were increased from 80 to 110, which is actually pretty huge. Like, metal walls, using them to like stop people from spamming your stuff actually might be a very, very good tactic now, because they're not going to be able to just like melt your stuff as quickly as if you were placing wood. And that's kind of like the thing they're going for here, making those other materials a little bit more useful. So yeah, interesting stuff right there. But after that, we have a tiny little change that I just had to show you guys, because I mean, it is a tiny bit useful, sort of, yeah. But this one actually has to do with your item inventory or the item shop. So if you go into like your locker right here and select one of your skins, they recently just added this secret little feature that lets you zoom in on the skins. That's right, it's not like the craziest, most useful thing in the world, but it's kind of a funny thing to know about, because now you can zoom in on that beautiful beautiful face. But to do this on consoles, I think it's like the right stick. You just move it up or down. Maybe it's the left one. I can't quite remember. And that's really all you have to do. Now, after that then, guys, we have 2 changes to some of the big guns in Fortnite. That builds off of the last point we talked about with the building buffs. But with that, they actually nerfed the SMG and the drum gun. Now, what are the exact stats of what was nerfed here so you guys know how effective they are now? Well, first of all, with the compact SMG, the legendary, and the epic variants, they reduced the damage from 22 to 21. And then for the epic version, 21 to 20, which isn't that big of a change, but still in certain scenarios, you should stay alive for at least like 1 more shot. And on top of that, they also reduced the magazine size from 50 to 40, which is a more obvious one that I'm sure some of you guys have noticed. Now, on top of that, they made even more changes to the drum gun, which first of all, they reduced the fall off range damage from 80 to 70% at 3,500 units. On top of that, they also reduced the fall off range damage from 65% to 55% at 5,000 plus units. And then that also goes hand in hand with like what you can destroy with structures. On top of that, they also decreased the jumping accuracy by 5% and the targeting accuracy by 10%. And finally reduced the spawn rate from chests by 40%, which before you could get these like so much. Now it's a little bit more rare in line with the other ARs. But overall, guys, hallelujah, that is a welcome change. But we haven't talked about a bug fix yet. So this bug fix is absolutely massive, especially if you're on console or use like turbo building. I think it was even an issue on PC, but it has to do with building in traps. So can you guys guess what it is? Leave your comments down below. It is the glitch where it would automatically cycle your traps when you were trying to put one down. One of the most frustrating things ever. Like you're in a build fight, you got hit a couple of times, you're trying to get away with a bouncer pad. You go to put it down and then all of a sudden you accidentally put a trap there instead. Oh, so much fun. But yeah, guys, apparently this has now been fixed, and personally I have not run into it since, which is honestly awesome. Now after that though is one of the other big things I wanted to talk about that goes sort of hand in hand with the building changes. Or not like hand in hand, but it's like on the same scale almost. It is something that has to do with the map itself and season 6 and all of that stuff. But guys, I am talking about the rift. That is right, the giant rift above us is actually shrinking. I don't know if you can really tell because it is pretty small, but like these smaller portions over like Paradise Palms and stuff like that are actually getting smaller, which was bound to happen eventually. But what does that mean for the story going forward? Are the rifts going to start slowly disappearing from like the Moai heads? Are we not going to get any like new locations sort of teleporting around? What even is the theme for season 6? We're already on like week 5, almost halfway through season 5, and we have no clue what is going to be going on for season 6. So these small changes, although they are small, I feel like we're going to be getting some huge stuff happening in the near future. Like, I don't know, maybe the Viking stuff is here to stay. We'll definitely have to make a separate video like theorizing about it, but it's signifying there is some massive stuff coming up. But keeping it going here, we got to talk about the vending machine changes. I'm sure you guys have noticed that the vending machines were actually changed to be more affordable, which is a welcome change. Those legendary ones cost way too much before. I never used them. But what about the specifics of the changes themselves? So as you can see here, this is the exact stats from Epic, but the common vending machines were actually reduced a tiny bit of how much they spawn, and they now cost 75. The uncommon was increased to 20% and costs 150. Then the rare, the blue vending machines were also increased to 20 and cost 225. And then getting into it with the really interesting stuff, the epic vending machine was increased from 5.45% to almost 20%. That is a massive jump. I've already been starting to see these a lot more recently, but I didn't know exactly like how much they changed. So that is really cool. And also they do cost 300 now, which makes them a lot more affordable. I've been getting some heavy shotguns from them. It's been pretty worth it. And then also the legendary vending machine is increased from 3.64 to 8%, which is still a pretty decent change. Not as big as the epic variant, and is also reduced to 375, which is a pretty huge change. These are costing a ton less. And like, yeah, if you see a chug jug in there and stuff, it's actually pretty worth it to like try and get it now. On top of that, there was also a final change to vending machines, and basically it's a little weird how they say it, but the chance of a vending machine not spawning went from 55% to 26%. So generally there should be like a fourth more vending machines on the map. But overall, that's super interesting. They're actually way more useful now, the vending machines, which is so dope. I'm excited to start like actually looking for them again. But after that, guys, we have another bug fix that is a super quick one here, but it is that players will no longer hear ghost footsteps after eliminating an enemy, which is huge. I hated this. It was a bug that was introduced with 5.2 and took a while to fix, but again, as you guys probably experienced, when you got in a one-on-one battle with somebody, you eliminated them, all of a sudden you heard these footsteps which sounded super close, and it caused you to like build around and start searching for somebody who wasn't even there because because they were ghost footsteps. They were glitched footsteps for whatever reason from the person you just eliminated, but it was super annoying. You felt like such a dope just building out of nowhere and like searching around for somebody that wasn't even there. So apparently this is now fixed. I haven't experienced it, so I do believe that it is successfully fixed in the game. But leave your comments down below as well. Have you guys experienced this of being officially fixed? Because I know I have, and it is a welcome change. And then for the last change of this video, it's a small one, but one I still think you guys should know about it. It has to do with the remote explosives that are always so fun to use. They've actually got nerfed a ton lately, and they did get nerfed again. That is why I'm putting it in this video, but they nerfed it in 2 different ways, I believe, with the first of which being that they reduced the drop count amount from 4 to 3 now, which is the more obvious change. I'm sure you guys have ran into this already, but yeah, if you find them on the map, you pick them up, they're only going to come in 3 instead of 4 as they did before, which does make sense to me. They're a little less spammy when it comes to build fights, and again, Epic is listening to us. They're going back to like building being a super important thing, which is just, oh, it's so awesome. But then on top of that, they also capped the amount of them that you can carry and reduced the max stack size from 10 to 6, so you can only carry 6 of them, which is a lot less. And I mean, you didn't usually have 10 of them stacked up, but when you did, you could just go to town on somebody's building structures. They didn't even have a chance against you. Especially, guys, remember when it was like the max blast radius of the remote explosives? That was insane. If you had 10 of them, oh man, it was crazy. But yeah, then actually with that a random one, they added a higher accuracy penalty to jumping and sprinting for dual pistols, submachine guns, and hunting rifles. Kind of a secret little change there, but I guess if you're like running and trying to like trick shot with the hunting rifle, this affects it a little bit, so that's interesting. And then they also even nerfed dual pistols. I didn't even know that was that big of an issue. I never use dual pistols. I just don't find them that, well, useful, obviously. Do you guys use them at all? I mean, they're kind of good in like certain specific situations, but I always feel like an AR or a submachine gun is better than that in like every way, so I don't know. But it is going to be the final change for this video. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe for more videos like this coming out in the near future. Turn on notifications, as well as check out some of my previous videos here, such as how to get the Galaxy skin for free on the left, and then on the right, the week 5 challenges guide. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one.